everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this update video. So we'll be looking at the latest for both of these systems. So we've got our Invest 94L, that is the tropical disturbance out in the main development region, and we've got that next area highlighted in the Caribbean. So that area was highlighted yesterday, I believe in the afternoon or in the evening. And I actually mentioned in that update video early yesterday morning that hey, we'll see what happens with the NHC updates, but we're likely to see the West Caribbean being highlighted, and we've got that now. So we've got 94L, we've got these trends with it, making a little dip into the vicinity of the Caribbean and developing into something. So we're going to be looking at the latest for both of these disturbances. Now, as we switch to the satellite imagery here, we can see what is going on. So we've got those little blobs associated with 94L, and it is embedded in a dry environment, so that is going to put a halt on any quick development to take place of the system for the next few days. And then in the Caribbean, we can see all these white dots around, lots of showers and thunderstorms in some areas, even noted in parts of northern South America as well. Let's take a closer look. Here we can see what's been going on, and this general area is going to remain active throughout the week. We're going to have that airflow pressure form, and we could see some development of it as it drifts towards Central America. But of course, the favorability of the environment is going to determine that, as well as land interaction, because if we have a lot of land interaction, it's unlikely we'll see a whole lot of development. But it doesn't matter. There will likely be a lot of heavy rain, especially for Central America, and that's likely to lead to some levels of significant flooding. And of course, if you should encounter any floodwaters, please stay safe as best as you can. So we're going to be looking at the rainfall forecast for today. Then we'll be talking more about both of the disturbances, or both of the areas rather, to watch for development. So here we can see what the Euro model is showing for today in terms of rainfall. We can see the West Caribbean being pretty colorful with those orange and those red shades, even a couple spots of burgundies and purples. So there's likely to be some substantial rain, especially as we head to the afternoon. So in parts of Jamaica, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, towards Central America as well, there's likely to be those heavy downpours. Even as we head to parts of northern South America, we already see that there is some action in the area, but there could be some additional downpours. Rainfall amounts probably exceeding 3.5 or 4 inches today for parts of coastal Colombia, especially towards the Pacific coast. And then for the ABC Islands, there could be some scattered showers around. Some periods of heavy downpours will be possible in sections of Venezuela. However, for the Guyanas, there may be some passing showers. Nothing much is really expected today. So that goes for Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Throughout the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands may be a little bit active with some passing showers that may be a little bit on the heavy side at times. But as we head further north to the Leeward Islands, say Dominica, going northward through Anguilla, including the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, there's unlikely to be a lot of heavy rainfall activity today. Hispaniola, there could be some passing showers, and there's a frontal system within the vicinity of the Bahamas, so that may help out to enhance the rain across the archipelago and even for the Turks and Caicos Islands as well. So that is what is expected in terms of rainfall activity, guys. And now as we take a closer look at these disturbances, we're starting out with that area in the Caribbean. So it is highlighted with a 30% formation chance over the course of the next 7 days. And notice that there's not an X. The area of low pressure has not yet formed, but as we're going to be heading into later this week, it is expected to form and could develop thereafter. So it is going to be moving towards the west-northwest or northwest, and eventually moving towards Central America. So within the time frame when it will be over water, it will have the opportunity to try to get itself together and become something. But as I said, regardless, there's going to be a lot of heavy rain throughout this week, especially for Central America. As it pertains to Invest 94L, everything is going as expected with it so far. So NHC currently has it at 60%, so 60% formation chance over the course of the next 7 days, and imminent formation is not expected. And notice that arrow points into the shaded orange area. So that shows that, hey, it's not going to be developing quickly right now, but as it moves further west, it will gradually encounter a more conducive environment, which may allow it to develop. And models have been trying the system towards the west, maybe getting pull out to the north by a front or making a dip into the Caribbean. And on the model track guidance, the models have been pretty much consistent about that little dip into the Caribbean. So we're going to be taking a look at that in a moment. Let's go on to it. All right, great, here we go. So this is as of the latest update. Notice how the tracks are also pretty tightly packed, so there is some pretty good consensus in terms of the track over the course of the next several days. So the models are showing that general track to the west, maybe a little bit to the west northwest, and then a little dip maybe to the west southwest into the Caribbean. This is something that's quite rare to see as well, even in the month of October, with a tropical disturbance being in the main development region. So yeah, this is not your typical October disturbance. Not that they cannot be out there, because I mean we have that out there right now, but it's just that we would typically expect systems closer to the Caribbean, in the Caribbean Gulf or offshore of the United States to develop. That's typically the development area that we want to watch in the latter part of the hurricane season. But hey, we're not going by the rules this year, so we've got 94L out there in the main development region. So we definitely want to watch it for any potential impacts in the Northern Caribbean, for the Leeward Islands, headed to the Greater Antilles as well. And as it relates to the intensity, we've definitely got the models expected. Most models expect that this will become at least a tropical storm. We've got several expecting that it will eventually become a hurricane as well. So that will be dependent on how conducive the environment is, but the water temperatures are well on their way. But as it relates to other environmental conditions, those have to also be favorable to allow the system to significantly strengthen. Now we're looking at the dry air map, and we can see these different colorful shadings. So those yellow, orange, and red spots indicate the dry air. And as I said, the disturbance is embedded within the dry air. So that is going to be putting a halt on development for the short term. But as we head into the next several days, we're going to see it likely gradually getting itself together better and better. And also notice that there's not really any dry air in the Western Caribbean at all. So when that other airflow pressure forms, if it's not interacting too much with land and the upper level winds are conducive, we could definitely see some formation out of that area. So of course, guys, I'll be watching for that as well. And as it pertains to the potential track of 94L, nothing is 100% solid. Even though we have this pretty good consensus, we're still talking about something about 5 to 6 days out from now, from the time when it would potentially make that dip into the Northern Caribbean. And the dip is all going to be dependent on the pressure systems out there. So if it's the case where there is going to be a front at the time when it is going to be moving north of the Eastern Caribbean, within this area, there's a pretty good chance it could move up and out. If not, if we have an area of high pressure reinforcing itself, that is going to be the mechanism to steer it to the west or a bit to the west southwest into the Caribbean. So it will all be dependent on the setup at that time, guys, but it's definitely something that I'm keeping an eye on. And of course, I'll continue to keep you posted as we head into the next several days. And so that's essentially what I wanted to share with you guys in this update video, and I hope you found it to be informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I can, and remember to always be weatherwise.